But, you know, I want to take these celebrations from the angle of the purpose of government.
Yes.
Because every time there is a new state created, and we're not out of it yet, you still see more people agitating, we want more states to be created. People have to ask, how does it bring development closer to the people? And when we look at the purpose of government, the fact that government exists for the security and well-being of the people of a particular area, how would you say that your government and even the celebrations that you're having now are going to impact the development and the well-being of the people of Rivers State?
No, I am not one of those that will say that, look, development, once you create states or local government, that the group that advocates that, look, for government to go nearer to closer to the people, the government will be very close to people. Therefore, we need creation of state, we need creation of local government. And you even find out that even in that local government you have created, there's a group that will seek for another creation of local government. Mm-hmm. Even when you create another local government, there's another group that will say they are being marginalized, that they need a creation of local government. So also it applies to the states. So even if you have created River State today, and there are still some people or some groups that will say, look, we're not comfortable with this River State. We're being marginalized. Nobody wants to take care of us, so they will want to agitate for creation of another state out of River State. Even when you have done that, there will be a minority in that creation that will also go out and say, look, we need creation of another state. But for me, what is key is commitment. It does not matter how many states you create out of the state. I've been elected as the governor of the River State. What is my mandate? What is my vision for the people? What did I tell them at the time I was campaigning? If I told them that, look, when I was campaigning, that, look, if you vote for me, these and these and these are what you're going to get. And now they have voted for me. So it behoves on me to say, look, I have a covenant, I have a contract with the people. I made a promise that if this is done, I'm going to do this. Now that I have the opportunity, what have I done? So if I'm committed, I must have to fulfill those promises I've made to the people.
But are the leaders also, just a moment, are the leaders also thinking about the purpose for the creation of the state, why it was that the founding fathers agitated for the state, and whether or not they have been able to meet up their responsibilities to the people as promised or as dreamt of by the founding fathers?
Yeah, just like I said, we cannot say totally that we have made up the dreams of the founding fathers. In fact, I believe that, yes, we have made some remarkable improvement or achievement, but we cannot say totally that we have achieved what all the founding fathers thought that, oh, if River State is created today, this is where they are going to be. That's the point I'm making. Taking into consideration, so there are so many factors that will militate against you getting that. We're in a federation, we're in a country. Take, for example, I'm from River State, and they say that River State produces a greater chunk of the wealth of this nation, of this country. And then you ask yourself that, yes, I have my share from the federal allocation, but that my share enough, right, to do those things that the founding father, the essence of the, because mind you too, they would have been, creating River State would mean that, look, assuming tomorrow we're having a true federalism, it would mean that we'll be in charge of our resources. So if we're in charge wholly of our resources, then we'll be able to apply those resources where we would need them to be applied. Right? That is part of the reasons. But is that true today? Certainly not. Well, we're not operating through federalism. But let's also say that from the allocation we're getting, as it applies to the state today, where I'm the governor of the state, have I been able to justify whether you call it huge allocation, whether you call it a mega allocation, whether you call it whatever, where you find yourself, have I been able to justify that allocation I'm getting from the federation? I can. At least to be satisfied or go a long way in achieving the yearnings or the dreams of our founding fathers. I would say, to some extent, yes. This is just 2 years in office. I've not been in office for 4 years. So with what we have done within the 2 years, you feel satisfied. If you can do this in these 2 years, in spite of all the onslaught, if you talk all these distractions, then the next 2 years, there are greater things to come. That is why today is in the state. There's unity. There's no division of among the ethnic. Development is not concentrated in one particular area that will attract reactions or that will try to raise agitations.
Is it across the 23 local government areas?
Of course. There's no one local government. In fact, the only local government today I can say we've not actually done anything. I won't use the word anything. We've not actually done something I can say, yeah, this is tangible. It's Amuma local government out of the 23 local government.
Why is that?
That's Amuma local government. We're 23 local government. But I can say that in at least 22 local governments, you can find visible things that we have done or we are doing.
So why not the last one?
Yes.
Why not?
No. I'm saying it's not as if we have not done. In fact, I know that we are aware of rehabilitating their cottage hospital. I don't see that as a major. That's the point I'm trying to make. But it does not mean that we don't have any presence in the local government. There's a road which they say they needed by all means that if we can do that road for them, that they'll be happy with the government. And that road, as I speak to you now, has been awarded. So if I take local government by local government or senatoriality by senatoriality, it will be difficult for any local government or any senatoriality to say, look, we cannot find government presence in our area.
I want to take it from, because if people say, okay, well, right now you have been busy commissioning things in celebration of Rivers at 50. I think we've seen the judiciary get a facelift with the Judicial Center, which was commissioned. You're talking about the Ecumenical Center, which you say you're building in thanksgiving to God. The Pleasure Park as a mark of tourism. But when you think about the impact of this, in terms of promoting the security and well-being of the people of Rivers, would you say it would have been more impactful if you concentrated more on schools, hospitals, and things of the sort?
No, that's also not, just like I said, in all sectors, we have, take for example, in terms of the schools, and the three senatorialities who have started to see how we can start starting the bringing back the boarding system, but which cannot be done at the same time in all the schools. We want to have the strong, say, 2, 3, 4 schools in the state and see how effective it will be. That will encourage us to really bring back the food boarding system. Now, in the Rivers Southeast, for example, we choose what we call Birabi Memorial Grammar School. Go to that school today. You would think that's a higher institution. Go and see what is happening there. In the Rivers Southwest, go to Nyemoni Grammar School in Abonima, in the river area. Go and see what is happening in that school. In the Rivers East, East Senatoriality, not Rivers Southeast. Southeast, I mentioned Birabi Memorial Grammar School. But in the Rivers East Senatoriality, which is where I come from, go to Government Girls Secondary School, Rumokuta, and go to Government Secondary School, Ogu, which is in the river area, and see the kind of school, the kind of model. Not necessarily coming with your own building gigantic this without facilities or whatever, but these are schools, that are old schools that we have turned it around with modern facilities to showcase that, look, it is not just merely building new schools that matter, but the infrastructure, the facilities, and the teachers that are there. So that is in terms of schools. Now, as I speak to you today, through UBEC, before we came on board, the state was not able to access their fund from UBEC or paying their counterpart funding of UBEC. So the money for the states was still with the federal government. So 2.8 billion. So as I came, I said, no, we can't allow that money to be there. We have to pay our own counterpart fund of 2.8 billion, which gives about 5.6 billion. Now we have assigned that 5.6 billion, and now UBEC is now totally renovating not less than 100 primary schools as I speak to you. So if we are not interested in education, we will not have paid our counterpart funding to be able to use it to renovate or bring our schools to the standard it's supposed to be. In terms of the health sector, all the general hospitals before we came on board were all moribund. All the general hospitals are all moribund. As I speak to you, we've been able to renovate and bring back at least 13 general hospitals. And these hospitals are all in the rural areas. Now, we have spent about $4 million to bring back the Breakthrough Memorial Specialist Hospital. $4 million. The total amount is supposed to be $6 million, but we have paid $4 million to bring back, to re-equip the general hospital to be able to stand that.
Who manages those ones in the rural areas? Is it the local government?
It is still the state. The general hospitals, still the state. Now, apart from that, the former government started building what they call the zonal hospitals that should be able to replace the general hospital, in a sense that if you have, say, for example, Akukotoro local government, you have Asaito local government, you have Degema local government, which these local governments have general hospitals, that there's no need each local government to have a general hospital. And so there's need for him to build one zonal hospital that take care of these three local governments. And then in Bori, you have Bori General Hospital, you have Gokana, so many general hospitals, and they have said that, look, we need to bring all this together and then have one zonal hospital. But for me, before you even do that, at least let the general hospital that are in existence be working before you complete the zonal hospitals. But you can't shut down the entire general hospitals and then you are building the zonal hospitals. When would they have access? Assuming anything happens from the various areas down to Port Harcourt.
But do local governments have the capacity to run the primary health care system in their region?
First of all, it's like saying the same thing in terms of the primary schools. If you ask me, frankly speaking, it's a disaster. Disaster in the sense that they don't have the capacity. Not only capacity in terms of personnel, capacity also in terms of funds.
Do we believe
assuming today that, like in our state, the local governments are still running the primary schools, then you know that we have been in a crisis. Now, how much does the local government get in a month? Take, for example, Port Harcourt local government that has so many primary schools, right? So many primary schools. And now they get like 70 million, 80 million naira a month. Now, you talk about the salaries of these teachers, not talk about salaries of other civil servants, not talk about salaries of the primary health workers. There's no way they can run the primary health care very effectively without the support, without the backing of the state government. Except we are not serious about the primary health care. Okay. Except we are not serious. But if we are serious, I think that the state must, as a matter of duty, take over the running of the primary health care.
Okay, we'll go to break, but we'll be back and take a look at some more items at Rivers at 50. Don't go away.